多謝大家收睇由安樂居呈現嘅不老80。今日咧請嚟咧三藩市行政官朱嘉文上嚟同佢傾偈。Carmen 你好，
你好 Ray，thank you。
好開心見到你，
多謝我。
其實我好想請Carmen 上嚟好耐㗎啦。咁啊，因為咧之前我喺另外啲傳媒工作嗰陣時咧都訪問過你啦。咁咧永遠咧都係真係講咗好多關於點樣可以幫助到個社區啊等等啦。咁同埋咧，我點解咁中意Carmen咧？就係因為咧。嗰陣時咧喺我哋個區做市參事嗰陣時咧，其實咧我都覺得你真係好用心去幫我哋嘅社區。咁啊，當然啦，而家你做咗三藩市行政官啦，管嘅嘢多咗啦。咁啊，但係亦都我知道你好忙啦。咁啊，好開心你今日真係抽時間上嚟同我傾偈。今日咧想同你傾下咧，就係一啲長者嘅問題嚇。不老80，咁呢個係我哋嘅節目啦。80歲其實而家真係唔老。咁啊，訪問之前咧就同你嘅同事啦，阿 Vivian 啦，傾過少少關於你。原來咧，我識咗你咁耐，即係我識你啦，我成日訪問你啦。原來我先知你細個長大一個開餐館嘅家庭度㗎嚇。係啊。嗱，我真係想聽下原來你以前細個又幫手搣個荷蘭豆啊，洗個碗咁樣喎嚇。咁啊，Carmen可唔可以同大家分享下你細個呢個做餐館嘅經歷咧？
我媽咪爸爸咧，佢哋係移民過嚟嘅，咁又儲埋咧，就自己開咗一間好細個嘅餐館啦。爸爸喺後邊煮嘢啦，媽咪喺出邊個做 waitress 啦。咁我以前細個從2歲至到 college and beyond 咧，都係喺餐館每一個禮拜尾都去幫下手嘅。咁所以咧個經驗就係見到媽咪爸爸做得真係好辛苦，非常辛苦，差唔多冇一日都係冇得休息嘅。咁你知啦，細個嗰陣時你最希望咧就係想同媽咪爸爸一齊㗎啦。咁好多時都冇咁個機會，但係咧我都好明白佢哋一定要做，因為佢要維持我哋個家庭 and help support 我哋個 family 咁啦。亦都係見到佢哋做得係好辛苦嘅。咁有時又搣下荷蘭豆，有時咧亦都係好難嘅。但係咧，如果有咩觀眾咧係想學下點樣係搣春卷皮咧，我都係好識㗎，就可以。
我真係估唔到喎！我真係估唔到，原來你細個係即係專攻呢個搣荷蘭豆一個專業。即係嗰陣時，你係細個幫屋企手啦，但係因為我啱啱同即係Carmen傾偈，搣荷蘭豆幾難嘅，你要逐條搣啦。咁嗰陣時你又幫手洗碗啊等等。咁其實以前咁嗰個喺一個即係新移民嘅家庭，又要出嚟幫手，其實你點樣感覺？即係點解其實佢哋要日日做嘢咧？我想知道，即係咪做餐館一定係要咁樣嘅？
好多人做餐館都明白係幾咁辛苦，做真中餐咧係好多功夫嘅，係咪？例如咧？好似譬如你講緊搣荷蘭豆啦，但係差唔多有好多啲 preparation work 之前準備係要做嘅。但係 even if 你係放假，你都要係準備買下餸清潔啊，你個廚房啊。好多嘢要做㗎 ，right？And so 見到佢哋做咧，就覺得係好辛苦咯。我媽咪爸爸佢哋，因為佢新移民過嚟嗰陣時咧，又唔係識乜英文，咁但係做餐館咧就係比較係一個 option 俾佢哋可以做得到咯。咁我哋細個唔單止係我家姐都要去幫手，咁有時喺個餐館度幫手啊，或者見到有任何啲信都要去幫下翻譯啊。做人民個新immigrant 個family 咧，個個都要係幫下手㗎 ，right？And so 都係好艱難嘅。但係講起上嚟咧，就係我都覺得係好有一個好嘅 opportunity，因為我媽咪個媽咪同爸爸，我個婆婆公公啦。有一段時間都係同我哋一齊住嘅，佢哋又因為我媽咪爸爸一定要做工，佢哋咧就好多時咧就睇我哋啦，就湊我哋返學放學啦，煮餐飯俾我哋食啦，就我都好感激我個婆婆同公公嘅。
所以我哋嗰個 generation 咧，即係我同阿 Carmen 嘅 generation 咧，嗰一代咧，啲爸爸媽媽要返工，咁多數係婆婆公公啊、嫲嫲爺爺去湊啊。咁有冇啲難忘嘅經歷啊、經驗啊，或者好難忘嘅嘢，同大家分享下你同你公公婆婆嘅故事咁樣。
媽咪爸爸咧就日日都要翻工啦，and so 阿婆婆公公咧就好多時咧就湊我哋翻學啊、放學咧就 take care 我哋煮啲好好食嘅嘢俾我哋啦。但係好多時咧，佢哋都會有時縱下我哋嘅。咁樣我記得咧，以前咧媽咪爸爸冇時間去帶我去 check 牙去牙醫咧，阿公公咧就去完牙醫咧就獎勵我買杯雪糕俾我食，我就覺得好開心可以有咁個 experience。但係見到有因為我同婆婆公公長大嘅話咧，我都好 appreciate 佢個教導啦，同埋佢哋咁錫我哋。even 佢喺一個唔同嘅國家，冇咩朋友喺度住，佢哋都好落力嚟幫我哋，湊大我哋咁樣咯。咁
當然啦，你喺中國香港移民過嚟啦，喺即係亞裔嘅家庭咁樣啦，過到嚟啦，咁當然你就喺度長大啦。其實你覺得喺佢哋嘅身上，喺啲長者嘅身上，有啲乜嘢嘅文化或者有啲乜嘢係覺得帶咗俾你係對你有用嘅？
或者我可以用啲英文講一講啦，因為I saw that my grandparents, they came over under very difficult circumstances also, and they came over and my parents came over to start a new life for all of us so that we can have better opportunities. And my grandparents taught us a lot. They taught us about culturally, the foods, the customs, the celebrations, all of the things that were part of being a Chinese American. And so I learned a lot about that. But I also learned a lot about respecting and appreciating your seniors because they sacrificed so much before us to be able to make it opportunities for us to see. So, my parents had the hardships of being immigrants here, but then my grandparents also suffered during a different time where they also had to really fight to be able to survive and support their families. So I think all of us have built upon every generation who has struggled to be able to get to where we are right now. My parents taught us a lot about how to be resilient, to persevere, but my grandparents also taught us a lot about making sure to keep the family together and to make sure that we support each other, especially in a new country. And that to me has been really important. My grandparents taught me patience. They taught me a lot about how to be a good granddaughter and also about how to make sure that I appreciated my own parents for what they were doing.
咁我想知道佢教你點樣做一個好嘅 granddaughter， 我都好想知喎。例如應該要咩 standard？
I think the biggest thing was education was probably the biggest thing.
OK。即係俾心機返學。
俾心機返學啊，因為我媽咪爸爸移民過嚟都係好辛苦嘅，所以佢哋最大個希望咧就係我同我家姐同我妹咧有機會可以做到任何一樣嘢。係。咁最主要。咁
而家佢哋應該好開心㗎。
最主要咧就係佢哋好想我哋有機會去返學。我媽咪爸爸兩個都冇opportunity 去返學㗎。So 一個好 simple 嘅嘢咧就係有機會去 pursue 我哋 education，pursue 我哋 career。
係。嗱，咁我知道而家咧你就同緊你爸爸一齊居住啦。其實呢個真係現代嘅一啲普通嘅一啲家庭嚟講咧，就真係好少會同爸爸媽媽一齊住。有時可能你自己有小朋友，咁有一啲原因啦。咁你爸爸媽媽同你一齊住，點樣啊？你覺得即係可唔可以教下大家點樣同啲長者相處咧？喺屋企度點樣維係住嗰個良好嘅關係
？Well, we didn't expect that my parents would move back with us, but around 2019 was when my daughter was born, and in 2020 we all were in COVID lockdown, and so they came to move up and live with us during that period of time so that we can be as a family unit and take care of each other during that time. And ever since then, for the last 5 years, they've continued just to live with us. So we never expected it, but it's been such a big blessing because I've been able to see how wonderful it is to have my daughter, who's now 5 years old, be able to know her grandma and know her grandfather. And that's been really great. And I think the biggest thing is that we just have to remember that everybody from a different generation has a different perspective. And it's informed by how they grew up and some of the hardships they face. And we just have to be patient and remember that people have different perspectives coming into things. But I always try to remember very much about this is very lucky. It's very lucky that I have the opportunity to have my daughter know her grandparents so well. So 我覺得係一個好幸福嘅機會，有辦法可以我而家個5歲個女可以有日日可以見到婆婆，日日可以見到公公。 我見到佢哋有時玩得幾咁開心，有時做父母你或者覺得係好繁忙，又要做工，又要去接送，又要煮飯，但係婆婆公公咧就可以俾一個 extra 個 love 個愛個溫暖個 warmth 俾我個女，有時我覺得係一個好好個 experience。係啊，
其實我覺得啲人要珍惜嘅，因為唔係個個細路仔可以有嗰個同婆婆公公嫲嫲爺爺嘅關係 grandparents， 咁有啲可能已經過身啊等等咁樣，咁所以有機會嘅話咧，其實即嗰個關係係一個好嘅經驗嚟嘅。係啊，同埋又問你應該就唔會噶啦，有冇呷你爸爸媽媽醋嘅咧？會唔會即係會唔會可能你個女因為成日都係佢湊住，即係可能會一返到屋企見到你可能冇一點你，反而黐婆婆公公啲咁樣喎。
Luckily 咧，我係佢嘅第一 number one 就係媽咪第一啦。喺我個女嘅心目中就係媽咪第一。不過咧，第二就係婆婆啦。或者我個 husband 就有少少合作。
我啱啱想講就係你 husband 希望佢可以調節到個心態啦。好，呢個時間我哋休息一陣，一陣間翻嚟咧講講咧，其實長者即係喺灣區都好多啦。咁其實你知阿 Carmen 咧而家就係三藩市行政官啦。究竟喺政府方面又點樣可以幫助到啲長者等等？一陣翻嚟再傾。好，繼續翻嚟由安樂居呈獻嘅不老80，今日咧就請嚟咧三藩市行政官朱嘉文上嚟同我傾偈。Carmen 繼續咯喎。好。咁好開心啊！咁其實咧即係我哋有一位真係識講中文嘅行政官啦嚇，亦都知道好多我哋亞裔嘅一啲文化。咁當然啦，三藩市咧就好 diversify 嘅，即係有好多唔同嘅種族。咁其實好難會就得晒每一個種族啦，係咪？咁但係起碼你都會知道我哋譬如亞裔中國人，咁其實可能佢哋嘅文化，譬如喺長者方面佢哋會中意啲咩唔中意啲咩等等。咁呢個咧其實可能都係如果你知道嘅話，對我哋都會有一個好大嘅影響。咁其實咧，我想知道咧，譬如你屋企有長者啦嚇，有爸爸媽媽，你之前亦都有關係同你公公婆婆等等，其實會點樣影響到你喺公共嘅服務同埋喺幫助社區方面嘅
？I think 你做到好似咁個職位咧，你一定會係攞你自己個背景嗰啲 experiences 出嚟做㗎，會 always influence 你係點樣對一個問題一個 question 㗎。And so having grown up in an immigrant family, one of the things that we really did was, as I think about public service, I think about the seniors, I think about is it possible for me to be able to serve them better? And sometimes there are barriers. There's culturally, there's barriers sometimes where people may not want to seek help or may not ask for help or be embarrassed to ask for help. Instances where they might not be able to speak the language well. And so when I'm thinking about public service, I'm thinking a lot about what is it that people are not communicating to me? How can I try to connect with them? And so 所以有咁嘅經驗，見到我自己嘅媽咪爸爸、自己嘅婆婆公公，有時或者唔係識講英文或者唔想騷擾人唔想 ask for help 啦，我都會好多時喺度而家做呢個職位咧，就會諗到我有咩做到有咩辦法可以 make sure 啲人會 feel comfortable 嚟政府如果需要係幫助嘅話，或者有咩resources 我哋可以幫到人咧，就如果佢唔識講英文咧，可以幫人哋翻譯。做到啲好嘅服務咁出嚟咯，因為有好多時咧，或者啲人自己個經驗咧，就係佢哋唔想係 seeking for help，想 trouble 啲人啦嚇。但係我自己咧就記得，我自己個父母需要係點幫助嘅，我自己個婆婆公公咧係點樣想有咩服務可以係如果係諗到以前嘅話係點樣可以幫得到佢哋㗎。所以好多時做呢個職位咧，每次你見到有咩新個 program 咧，都會諗呢個角度咯。係啊，
我覺得頭先你講有一樣嘢好緊要 ，ask for help 唔係個個都放得低個身段叫做去問人去求，唔係求人嘅，即係叫人去幫啦。有時甚至乎有啲我聽有一啲長者話有時叫啲仔女都唔係咁好意思，因為可能佢哋啲仔女都好忙啊嘛，唔係唔想幫，就係因為都真係好忙，但係啲仔女有時見到你都要忙翻你自己嘢，就唔好意思講都未定。反而有一啲服務喺出邊嘅話，你想幫我就俾你幫啦咁樣。咁譬如呢方面喺即係語言方面嘅，而家即係三藩市市政府有啲咩計劃係幫到我哋啲長者咁樣嘅？
喺議員方面咧，我哋有好多唔同嘅服務係一定，我哋個 law 咧就係需要三藩市咧嗰啲 government entity 咧一定要翻譯啲information 出嚟啦。所以如果有人係淨係識講中文啊、廣東話又好啊、國語又好啊，或者其餘啲 language 咧，我哋有一個責任咧，就係幫助 translate 呢啲資料啦。我哋有一個服務咧，就係311啦。咁如果有啲長者啊，或任何人都好啦，係需要任何一個 government 個 service 嘅話咧，佢都可以打電話去311嗰個服務咧。如果你話你係講廣東話嘅話，或國語又好啦，佢哋都會有人咧就可以幫到 translate。你需要揾個
好有用呢個311，好有用，我都建議大家用啫。
I mean 我哋個做個新移民個 family 都見過嚟㗎啦。我自己父母啦 ，even 而家佢哋喺度住咗咁多年都好啦。even 佢哋去見醫生，有時都唔想騷擾個醫生啊，唔想問啲 question 啊，因為佢自己好似唔好意思問啦。
So 覺得醫生好寶貴時間，唔好阻人啊咁樣。
但係好似喺我哋角度嚟見到咧，一定要幫助我哋啲長者啊 ，make sure 佢哋有啲人可以幫助佢哋 ask the right questions，make sure 啲 resources 咧就係可以幫得到佢哋，因為唔係咧佢哋或者需要幫手都唔會講 ，so we have to make sure we help them。
係呢個好緊要。咁其實311佢哋唔單止係可以打電話去，我知道而家其實有個 app 嘅，
係啊，
咁都可以用，咁大家可以留意一下。另外咧就係有一個叫做社區大使計劃喎，係點嘅咧又？係
好多年前係近住 Ed 做市長嘅時，我諗嗰陣時開始㗎，係啦。咁就新咗create 咗一個 program 係一個 community ambassador program。嗰個 program 咧個最 big 個 goal 咧就係幫助啲社區啲 community members 喺啲唔同個 neighborhood 嗰度咧有一個 presence 喺度。個 presence 就係如果你將係有咩 question 或有咩問題咧，你可以揾到呢啲 community ambassador 去幫手嘅。咁有好多唔同個 neighborhood 都有 community ambassador 嘅，喺 Bayview 又有，喺 Mission 又有 ，Sunset 又有，喺 Excelsior 嗰度都有嘅，唐人埠又有。So 我哋有一個 program 咧，就專係 make sure 我哋有時如果你行到任何嘅地方，見到人係一個 community ambassador，你都可以問得到佢哋啲 question，幫一幫手嘅。有啲地區咧，嗰啲 community ambassadors 會幫係 safe passage，或者同你一齊陪你行去一個唔同嘅地方嘅，因為我哋知道或者有啲長者覺得唔安全啊，或者佢驚自己出門口，所以我哋 make sure 啲長者咧就知道我哋好大個目的咧，就係想 make sure 個個就覺得個治安係 OK， 佢個 safety 係 important 㗎。盡量用呢啲服務真係好有幫助，尤其是長者。如果大家想知多啲詳情，其實都可以打去311，都可以攞到呢啲資料嚇。咁我覺得有時譬如你都要出去買下嘢啊，或者去睇醫生啊，咁你想有人陪下喺嗰個區度行啊，陪住你呢個都係有幫助。咁另外咧，我想知道啦，即係阿 Carmen 你喺三藩市做行政官啦，其實你有管25個部門咁多，我就真係覺得會好忙啦。咁所以咧，我想知道其實你點樣去維係住你同你屋企人嘅關係，尤其是同你可能父母啊或者其他屋企人嘅關係，你有冇啲 tips 帶俾大家 ？You know, it's so hard. I think in our generation, they call us the sandwich generation, right? We have seniors that we're taking care of that has pressure on one side, and then you have your young children on the other side. So you're kind of sandwiched in the middle. But I will say that, you know, your job is one piece of it, and my job is demanding. It's also important. I feel good about the work that we can do. But at the same time, at the end of the day, why do we work so hard? We work really hard to make sure we have a great life for our families, and you can't forget about that piece of it. And so I think the tips for anybody who is with their family members, especially their seniors, is don't forget to reach out to your family members. They are people who have interests and friends and interests. They're not just your mother, they're somebody who has their own life too. So we always have to just remember to treat them with respect. I know sometimes, you know, you might get tired of them saying, oh, put on your clothes, 着返件衫啦，食咗嘢未啊? You might get tired of that, 早啲瞓覺啊. You know, you might get tired about and say, like, I'm an adult, why are you keep on asking me that? But just remember that they're saying that because they love you. And that's a good problem to have, right? Like, if
我哋都成日咁同啲仔女講。如果你唔係我仔女，我未必會咁沉氣嘅。
就係咯，如果佢哋唔係咁錫你嘅話，佢哋唔會咁講嘅。Right? So I think 有時要 just 反映下 ，you know 有時 you just make sure 你記得呢個你個父母係好辛苦養大你哋嘅。冇錯。just 記得一個時間咧就係 you know 你要享識下呢個時間，有咁個機會可以同你父母一齊
感恩啊
，because 唔係 always 㗎 ，right？
冇錯冇錯，
今日話唔定聽日個事，so you have to just make sure to remember to take that and hold it tight。
係冇錯。最後啦，想問一問咧，即係嚟緊咧，將來咧，譬如喺視父方面啦，喺長者啊等等呢啲服務方面，你哋有啲咩計劃啊，或者對將來係點睇法？
I think that we're going to be heading into a very difficult budgetary season for the city, and so over the next few years, where the city is adjusting, coming back from the pandemic, there's a lot of changes in our office and downtown real estate that makes things a little bit tougher for the city. And so we're going to have a lot of pressure to cut services and to cut different resources. And my hope is that we're going to be able to preserve as much as possible some of those senior services that are really important, because we want to keep our seniors safe and healthy, but it's also really important to be supporting them mentally also. You know, like we have too many seniors who are isolated and away from people, right? They may not feel comfortable walking out by themselves, so they self-isolate in their homes. And that could be really bad for people's mental states and kind of where they are from a health perspective. So I think programs that help bring people together. We were just at a fundraiser for self-help for the elderly this past weekend. Programs that help bring seniors together, that create an opportunity for people to get to know each other, to have like mental connection and stimulation is really important. So I really do hope in the coming budget that we'll be able to preserve some of these very important services for our seniors.
冇錯，真係。好開心咧，即係阿 Carmen 咧，我哋嘅三藩市行政官咧，真係好明白，真係長者其實咧係我哋之前佢哋用咗好多佢哋嘅時間去幫助建立呢個社區，咁同埋或者係幫助我哋屋企啦去做一個好美滿嘅家庭。咁其實咧即係市府或者其實我哋每一個人咧都係有一個責任咧去令到佢哋餘下嘅生活啦、晚年咧過得更好啊！今日多謝晒咧，就係三藩市行政官Carmen朱嘉文上嚟同你傾，多謝晒你啊！希望下次有機會咧就再請教一下你煮嘢方面嘅心得。
OK， 我會準備下啦。
或者點洗啲碗啊？你之前幫手喺餐館洗碗洗得乾淨啲啊！
一定。
多謝晒你 Carmen， 多謝你
，Thank you。
多謝晒咧，就係三藩市行政官咧朱嘉文上嚟同我哋傾偈。其實今日個總結咧，我諗我會講係叫做荷蘭豆的故事。咁點解咧？即係其實咧，我啱啱真係前2個禮拜咧，就喺上網學識咗咧點樣即係整呢個荷蘭豆炒蝦。咁啊，原來整荷蘭豆咧唔係咁容易嘅，你要搣開嗰條絲啊，入邊又要搣，出邊又要搣。咁我一路搣咧就係一路覺得哇！依碟咁嘅餸咁多功夫嘅，嗰一紮荷蘭豆哇，逐條搣嚟搣去都搣未完咁樣。咁可以同阿 Carmen 傾偈啦。原來佢細個咧就係幫佢爸爸媽媽做餐館啦，就係其中一個工作咧就係專係負責搣荷蘭豆，唔係一樣容易嘅事嚟嘅。咁所以其實好多時咧有好多一啲嘢你一定要經歷過，或者你知道原來呢樣嘢係咁樣做過，你眼睇以為好簡單，其實未必一定咁簡單。有似長者服務咁樣啦，其實大家可能以為長者係你揾個人喺屋企陪住佢咪得咯，或者得啦，每個月俾翻一啲長者退休金俾佢就得咯。其實係咪咁簡單咧？咁當然唔係啦。咁所以好開心咧，我哋三藩市咧，我哋嘅行政官咧朱嘉文咧係亞裔啦，咁同埋亦都佢有喺佢屋企都有好多唔同嘅關係同長者，譬如佢父母啊，或者之前同佢公公婆婆啊等等。咁呢啲咧其實都幫助到咧佢喺當佢做一啲公共嘅工作啊、服務等等嗰時咧，佢都有一個共鳴，就知道究竟點樣可以幫助到我哋嘅長者，幫助到我哋嘅社區。